The G20 Summit 2024 has concluded. For 2 days, leaders from 20 biggest economies discussed issues ranging from hunger and poverty, global governance reform, and energy transition. At the closing ceremony, Brazil handed over the G20 presidency to South Africa. Valerina Daniel has the complete report.
The G20 Summit 2024 has ended successfully. It was held between November 18 to 19, 2024. There were 3 main topics discussed during the 2 intensive days. The first leaders meeting session, it was about combating hunger and poverty. It was signified by the launch of Global Alliance Against Hunger and Poverty. This is the initiative of the Brazilian President Lula da Silva. The second session of the leaders meeting was about global governance reform. In this session, all the leaders are discussing the ways on improving the role of international institutions in order to support the creation of peace and prosperity in the world. Finally, on the last day, the third session of leaders meeting was about sustainable development and energy transition. In this session, the leaders were committed to support the efforts to combat climate change together. By the end of the third session, there was a ceremony to hand over the presidency of G20 from Brazil to South Africa. It means in 2025, the G20 Summit will be in South Africa. I am Valerina Daniel. Here is the complete story of G20 Summit 2024 in Brazil. Rio de Janeiro, November 18, 2024. President of Brazil, Lula da Silva, opened the G20 Summit 2024 first session. He launched the Global Alliance Against Hunger and Poverty. All the world leaders from 19 member countries and European and African Union, plus the representative of international institutions, all echoed this Global Alliance Against Hunger and Poverty. President of the Republic of Indonesia, Prabowo Subianto, attended this first session, and during his statement, he stated that Indonesia support this alliance because as the 4th most populous country in the world, hunger and poverty are real common problems. And that is why during his election, he pledged to make this fight against hunger and poverty as his one of main agendas for the next 5 years. And after he is elected as the President of the Republic of Indonesia, his administration prepared a budget for creating a program to support the combating hunger and poverty objective in 2025. Moreover, during his statement, President Prabowo also stated that education is one other thing that is going to be his main focus during his administration years, because education is one of the ways to develop young generations in Indonesia.
I myself have just been elected president of the 4th largest country in the world. We have the 4th largest population. Therefore, hunger and poverty is for us a real issue, a day-to-day matter. We have still sizable percentage of our people below the poverty line. We also have 25% of our children going hungry every day. I was elected on the issue of poverty and hunger. Therefore, I'm very happy to be involved in this G20 Summit.
The second session of the G20 Summit 2024 highlights the agenda of reform of global governance institutions. President Lula da Silva, as the president of G20, stated in his statement that the world needs to work together in order to give more roles to international institutions so that they can keep the efforts to maintain peace and security in the world. From Iraq to Ukraine, from Bosnia to Gaza, there is a growing realization that not every territory's integrity deserves respect and that not every life has the same value. And that is why the world needs to work together in order to maintain peace and security.
que nos empurra para uma
On November 19, 2024, the last session of the G20 Summit 2024 took place with the theme Sustainable Development and Energy Transition. In this session, the world leaders urged to obey the Paris Agreement and to commit to climate fund so that it can be implemented effectively in the future. Indonesia is one of the countries that agreed to support this initiative and to transition to green energy. With the theme of building a just world and sustainable planet, the Brazil's G20 presidency has come to an end. All of the agendas discussed during the summit will be summarized in the leaders' declaration. Next year, South Africa will be the president of G20. The Group of 20, or G20, is an intergovernmental economic forum comprising 19 countries and 2 regional unions, the European Union and African Union. It represents 85% of the global economy, 75% of world trade, and 67% of the global population. Therefore, the theme fostering solidarity, equality, and sustainable development felt as the right spirit to address global challenges.
Thank you.
The summit of the Group of 20, or G20, has concluded, but the discussions on the 3 main agendas will definitely continue in the future. With South Africa as the new president of G20, the year 2025 is predicted to be a pivotal moment for developing countries, especially in Africa, to play more critical roles in addressing global challenges. Valerina Daniel, Tom Endiarto, TVR World, Brazil.